You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not undisciplined. What you are is cortisol flooded. Now, what does that mean? If you've been eating less, training harder, and doing everything that the influencers tell you to do, and the scale still won't move, I need you to stop blaming your willpower, because the problem was never effort. It was your biology, and nobody told you the truth about it. I'm Mike. I run HealthX, and I've coached hundreds of people through exactly this. Today, I'm going to show you why your body's actively working against you for fat loss and what to actually do about it. Let's get one thing straight before we go further, because social media and the internet has lied to you about this. Stress doesn't directly drop fat into your belly. That's the oversimplified version that gets thrown around in the thumbnails. The real mechanism is more honest and, quite frankly, more useful to understand. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated for longer than it's designed to be. And what elevated cortisol actually does is mess with the systems that make fat loss possible in the first place. It disrupts your sleep, and bad sleep alone increases hunger hormones and kills your motivation to move. It spikes cravings for fast energy, sugar, processed carbs, stuff that's easy to grab after a brutal day at 9 p.m. at night. It can reduce insulin sensitivity over time, which means your body holds onto the energy instead of burning it. And it quietly drains the willpower you'd normally use to make good decisions, because your nervous system is shot and it's busy dealing with what it thinks is a threat. So when someone says stress makes you fat, that's friggin' lazy. The accurate version is stress destroys the conditions fat loss depends on: sleep, food choices, movement, recovery. All four just get hit at once. That's why eating less and training harder doesn't work for you the way it works for someone whose life simply isn't falling apart. You're not failing the plan. The plan was never built for someone running on adrenaline and 4 hours sleep. So here's what it looks like in real life, and I see this constantly with all my clients. You used to have energy. You used to recognize yourself, and then this thing called life just happened. A marriage fell apart, a parent got sick, work became unbearable, your child needed more of you than you had left to give. And somewhere in all of that, the body you used to live in just quietly disappeared. You didn't get lazy, you got depleted. And depleted people don't fail diets because they lack discipline. They fail diets because the diet was designed for someone with a regulated nervous system, and yours hasn't been regulated in years. And this is the part that nobody in the fitness industry wants to say, because it's not a sexy 30-day transformation, but it's the truth. And the truth is what gets you results. So here's where we fix it. Not with endless amounts of discipline, just with a different sequence. 1, sleep is the lever, not the afterthought. You cannot out-train a sleep deficit. If you're under 6 to 7 hours consistently, that's where we start. Not your macros. Fix this first, or everything else underperforms. Protein first every meal. This isn't a diet trend, it's a cortisol management tool. Stable blood sugar means fewer crash and craving cycles. Aim for a palm-sized protein source at breakfast, specifically. That's the meal most stressed adults skip or replace with caffeine. Resistance training 2 to 3 times a week. It's a non-negotiable, even if they're just short sessions, not for aesthetics. Strength training improves insulin sensitivity and gives your nervous system a controlled way to burn off the stress hormones already in your system. 20 minutes done consistently beats 90 minutes done sporadically. Walk daily. This is not optional cardio, it's nervous system regulation. A 20 to 30 minute walk lowers cortisol more reliably than a brutal HIIT session when you're already stressed. HIIT sessions on top of high stress can actually backfire and add more load to an already overloaded system. And lastly, address the stressor, not just the symptoms. This is the one that people skip the most. The stresses from work, relationships, grief, caregiving, diet and exercise alone just won't outmuscle that. Sometimes the most important fat loss intervention is a hard conversation, a boundary, or professional support that has absolutely nothing to do with food. So if you've been beating yourself up for not having the discipline to lose weight, stop. You were never undisciplined. You were trying to solve a nervous system problem with a willpower solution. Those are two different problems, and only one of the approaches actually works. The body you want is still in there. It's just been buried under cortisol, exhaustion, and a few years where survival mattered the most. That's not weakness. That's what happens to capable people when life throws everything at them at once. If this is where you are right now, doing everything you think you're supposed to do and still not seeing it move, that's exactly who I work with inside of HealthX. We build the plan around your actual life, not a generic 12-week transformation protocol that assumes you've got nothing else going on in life. There's a link in the description if you want to apply and talk it through. No pressure, no hard sell from me. Just an honest, open conversation about where you're at. I'll see you in the next one.